Hey, yo, it's the Morning Hustle with L'Oreal and Kyle Santillian. Alton Walker is with us. We're home with that $1,000 cash grab, but we're also home for many, many guests to pull up on us and hang out with us here on the Morning Hustle. And he's back. He's ready to talk to us about some things. This guy, man, very big deal. Former NBA player, #1 draft pick. Give it up for Greg Oden.
Thank y'all for having me again.
Yes,
I appreciate it.
It's good to have you here, man. This is perfect timing, too. We get into the NBA playoffs.
Exactly.
Man.
He's like the only person we trust to talk sports here.
Right.
I don't know why you would trust me.
Uh-oh.
I mean, you got the experience, man. You've been through the process. And not too many people can say that they've made it to the NBA. And way less people can say they were a #1 draft pick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a big deal.
I appreciate that. That don't make me all things NBA, but I know a little bit. I guess I can give some predictions.
Yes, for sure, for sure. All right, so going back to that moment, man, 2007 NBA draft, you're the #1 draft pick, and our producer, Big Med, just reminded us that you were the #1 draft pick ahead of Kevin Durant.
Yes, I was. The first ballot Hall of Famer, top 5 scorer in history of the game. Yes, I was that guy drafted before him.
That's crazy. I love Katie. He's like one of my favorite players. And like, you just came and you just crushed the building on that.
I guess. I had an opportunity. I dominated when I played.
Yeah.
But, KD's doing this thing now, and I'm a big fan as well.
A lot of people, you know what I mean, know that your NBA career was cut short due to injury. But when you see what Kevin has done, and obviously you didn't have any control over your injuries, but does it make you think like, damn, like if I was healthy, I know I could be putting up those type of stats?
I would love to say that, but you can talk all that when you're not doing it. So right now, I'm gonna say I would have averaged 30 and 15, but you don't know. I wish I could have. I probably would have had to change my game, knowing that I was a traditional big. That stayed in the post, but probably would have been shooting some threes, so definitely would have brought my average up a little bit more. But I can talk and say that when I play at Lifetime with the 5'6" guys, and I'm just dunking on them, makes me feel good
I'm
about
representing
myself.
for the 5'6" guy. Now, hold on now.
But you know what? We just saw a big injury happen with Juju Watkins, and her being younger. Do you think that that's something that she could just get over quickly in her career? Because that's a big injury.
It is, and I don't think anybody can just get over any injury like that just quickly. But, hopefully she stays out as long as she possibly can to heal all the way. Those knee injuries, I've dealt with them a lot, and you got to listen to the doctors. You got to do everything you're supposed to do. You got to try to keep your weight down while you're dealing with that. Just adding that extra weight in the recovery process could be something as well. And hopefully that she takes this time to better herself off the court, just get smarter, and then add something to her game as well.
Right.
I know it's tough, but she needs to take that time and listen to those doctors.
Yeah.
But when you're the star, I feel like they often push you to move that recovery process along a little faster. So, like, is it more like you have to play when you have these scholarships and stuff like that? Or can she really take that time and be like, no, I'm not all the way ready right now?
I honestly think it's the athlete that kind of wants to push it, especially when they're the star. They want to get back out there. They want to prove that they can get back as quickly as possible, that they're the one of one, the magnificent recovery. Those are the athletes that want to. I think the teams that invested, the schools that invest in these athletes want to take the time and make sure that they get back right and, show that they actually care about the athlete, or at least we hope that's what they do.
Right.
Was it a lot of pressure on you trying to recover and come back from injuries? And how did that pressure compare to like the expectations of being the #1 draft pick?
I think that was the biggest part of it, wanting to come back and wanting to rush myself back. I think the expectations of where everybody thought I should be. And then for me, the injuries piling on year after year, it was like, you got to get back. You got to get back. The narrative of me, what I was supposed to be and not living up to it with the injuries. I wanted to get back, but I just couldn't, and I had to take that time. But
That's a lot of pressure.
That is.
It
Yeah.
is, especially being a number one draft pick or just being an athlete in general. Like if you're Juju, in her case, she's the biggest celebrity on campus right now. So,
Yes.
everybody's looking at you and you can't physically do anything. You're just sitting your butt down. You're going to want to prove or show that you can get back and get out there as soon as possible.
Yeah, especially when you're playing at a high level like we're talking about for you. You didn't lose a home game in college or in high school when
That's
you were
crazy.
That's insane, yo. Never lost a home game.
I actually just now thought about that. Yeah, you're right. But no, those are the games you're supposed to win. They tell you when you play in sports, win the home games, win the ones that you can control.
When you're playing in high school, it's high school specifically, even more than college, because the players around you get better as you raise your level of play. In high school, is it just like, yo, give me the ball, man? Y'all just run up and down the court next to me? Or like, are you sharing it with your teammates?
Well, fortunately, I had a point guard that I played in high school with. That's Mike Conley. That's going on year 18 in the
Wow.
league.
Yeah, so you like, no,
It
you run
wasn't
alongside
just
me.
Yeah. I had somebody that knew what he was doing.
Okay.
But no, it's not like that because, everybody, you play at that level. They're going to be even with you. Teams are going to be good because they don't have everybody. But, I was 7 feet, so I was just dunking on everybody. That's
Crazy.
Let's talk about because you've been from Portland, Miami, living in different cities playing, right? Or like even China. Like, what is that like? Because I know you have the women that's around, and Portland is a little different than Miami, right?
Yes.
So is it a little harder to ignore those distractions?
I mean, look, they talk about all the groupies and women. I never saw that. I want to know where they at. I've never saw them in my career like that.
No, you are.
I'm
walking up this interview.
They're not just out there like that.
I got the confused face.
What? Yeah, come on. Once you tall, you already get groupies.
No, not really. No, I think a lot of women don't approach me because I'm tall. Or, sometimes I don't approach women because I don't want to be disrespectful. So a lot of times, and then you end up, the whole day goes by and nobody said anything to each other.
What?
Y'all psyched each other out.
100%.
So you didn't have the groupies beating down your door like we think you did.
No. And then when I tell them I'm not LeBron, they just go somewhere else.
They're like, oh, get his. He just tall for nothing.
I'm not LeBron. They're like, oh, get about it.
I thought you were.
I've got that before, to be honest.
Really? Well, how about, because I know, so you come here and talk to us, but I know being from Indiana, right, you have Jeff Teague, who's also from Indiana. He has his podcast popping.
Yeah.
Is that something that you, like, do you be on podcasts or be more interested in getting more on podcasts?
I mean, I've done a lot of podcasts recently, and I don't mind talking. Me personally, having my own podcast, I don't talk that much.
Yeah, so you wouldn't do it. I'm not doing
on
that.
a consistently thing, no, I couldn't do it. But I like getting on every now and then and just shooting the stuff and telling my story, but doing my own, that's a lot. That's too much talking. Like I can't do that every day like y'all do.
Yeah, because I wonder if sometimes, like, y'all being from that world, is it a little disrespectful when you start telling those locker room stories? Because I feel like those stories may be supposed to be behind the scenes. Maybe we're not supposed to hear them. So when you hear somebody like Jeff coming out and saying these stories and they're circulating, are y'all like, damn, like you talking too much?
I would love to say that, but I think the stories he tell are tellable stories.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he got probably 100 more that he cannot tell and that he won't tell. But Jeff's great. He's a great storyteller. Him and those guys, they're hilarious, by the way.
FYI, that was my idea for them to do the podcast.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Excuse me.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking you. I'm like, Sal.
He got some great stories. I mean, I enjoy watching his podcast and the things that he could tell and kind of make it to where he's not giving too much or is disrespectful to the other athletes or his other ex-teammates, I guess.
Yeah.
He's got a gift in that one.
Well, I asked that because we want to ask you some locker room stories a little bit, but more so when it comes to, like, what's the discussion when it comes around these baby mama things, and you see, like, Anthony Edwards right now.
Going crazy.
All over the news when it comes to entertainment news, when it comes to him abandoning these babies out there. Do y'all ever, like, check each other in the locker room like, come on, bro, you know you ain't right for that? Or
I mean, I personally wasn't reading the gossip and all that. I mean, you know what you know. If they want to tell it, then they'll tell it.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about abandoning babies.
Oh, well, it's like literally public knowledge. Courts involved and everything.
Right.
He doesn't want visitation on 2 of the kids. Like,
that got nothing to do with me.
yeah.
You look at it like you showing up for work, like more so than,
and you know,
this is my homie I'm playing basketball with?
No, I just wish there was a little bit more vets that actually did that. I think a lot of these guys are so young that that's just not a thing where you're talking about your life as much to, you know, other men in the locker room.
Yeah.
I think back in the day when you had older guys, they were more invested and wanted to help these guys get to, you know, the age that I am now and have a good life and be like, young fella, you need to move a little bit differently.
Right.
I just wish there was a couple more vets, and I would love to do some stuff like that myself.
I think you definitely should, because
sure.
it's a lot of them that we see that are lost. And we see the hazing going on when it comes to like the rookies that come in and they don't mind jumping on them to be like, oh, pay this dinner bill for everybody. But I feel like when the same thing should come around when they see them in a little bit of trouble,
Straighten
and it's
them
like,
out.
hey, you know, this is baby number 3. What's up?
For sure.
I mean, I would love to see that, you know, just you know, having people around them. And honestly, if you got $100 million, would you listen either? You know,
but see, that's
somebody that got $200 million.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So that's when you need those vets in the locker room, or you need people that's been through it. You know, that's somebody that they would you know, take their attention and actually want to follow or actually believe in, to actually sit down and listen to. And
yeah. I wanted to ask you just about, and this is something that's always a conversation nowadays. I've even seen recent videos on Instagram where they're like comparing the game. There was a game I saw, a video I saw earlier this week that showed the Spurs. I want to say they were, I don't know, the early 2000s. And it was like, this is the perfect display of NBA basketball. They came up the court, they was dishing, the passing, they had the set play, the score. And then there's another video where these two teams go back and forth up the court like 8 times. You seen that video? And nobody scores a basket. And they're just talking about how trash the product has become over the years. How do you feel about the product of the NBA today and what we're watching on television? Because
trash, damn.
I mean, they're saying a lot of ratings are coming down, and that's the conversation.
I mean, I'm going to say it's the best basketball we've seen. I mean, as the years go on, the guys just get better. So the talent in general is just better. I mean, you can go back to the 80s and you can find a clip of them not scoring for half a quarter as well. Yeah. You know, it just depends on what you put it as. But I think the talent in general in the league from top to bottom is so much better than what we think.
So is it not a talent problem, but more of a structure problem? Like you got guys run up and down the court just throwing up threes rather than calling a play?
That's exactly what it is. I think these guys fell in love with the three. I think, you know, making the winning play, you know, passing to the open man kind of goes out the window when you want to be the guy. You want to show that you can score 30 a game. Everybody's not Trae Young, you know. You pass to Trae Young if he's open, okay?
Right.
You know, but a lot of these guys don't do that. Sometimes they're a little bit selfish, and some of these guys haven't learned the right way to play basketball. So that's what it comes to.
Right.
You know, but the guys who know to make the open pass, to make the right play, to get a rebound, take a charge, those are the guys who are going to last in the league.
It's been hard to watch a lot of games. I ain't gonna hold you.
I feel like, to piggyback off what you're saying, we always saw like a dynamic duo when it came to like NBA, like Scottie Pippen and Mike. You had Kobe and Shaq. Who would you say is the dynamic duo today?
Well, right now, Steph and Jimmy Butler.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is a new duo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson, New York. Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, you know, Miami. I guess Dame Lillard and Giannis in Milwaukee.
Yeah, I can see that.
Jamal Murray and Jokic in Denver. So there's always those type of guys.
Yeah.
But, you know, those teams, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, you know, like those guys. And you always got to have great players around them to help them succeed. So, you know, I always think about it as Shaq call it the others. You know, those are the ones that help win championships. But,
for sure, you got to have a supporting cast.
Yeah, you got to, you know. Guys that know how to play their role and to help, you know, those guys that do everything, you know, succeed and be that type of player.
We see LeBron's getting up there in age as well, and he's currently the face of the NBA.
I'll take that.
Yeah, but who could you see being the next face of the NBA? We've heard a lot of names get thrown out there. At one point, they were saying maybe Ja Morant, but they said he threw it away when he did all the gun stuff. So who can you see in the future being the face of the NBA?
Well, I think there's a reason why Luka went to the Lakers. I think he's going to learn from LeBron how to be the face of the NBA. You know, they want to be very international and worldwide, which, you know, the game of basketball is. And I think that's kind of what made that trade a little bit okay. It was like, they tried to make Luka the face of the league a few years ago. You know, and so at this point, we're like, just learn from LeBron. You're in L.A. There's more Lithuanian restaurants here than there are in Dallas. You're comfortable, and learn from the king, and then just pass the baton.
Damn. So do you feel like him being in L.A. Is a move that has to be made for him to be the face of the NBA?
No.
Okay,
because,
it just helps because LeBron is
Jason
there.
Tatum is being pushed to be that face of
That's
the league
who I
as
think.
well.
Yeah.
That's who I think would be. I mean, there's always been a black man now. For the most, I mean, we had Mike, we had LeBron.
I mean, who's going to be that consistent through all these years? And I mean, if Steph wasn't so closer in age to LeBron, it would obviously
be him
Steph.
for sure.
A Devin Booker, if they would win.
He got to stay away from the Kardashians, though. That already messes him up.
You mess with one, and that's every relationship he got now.
You can't. Now you. What's the guy that she got rid of? You know which one I'm talking about? The first one.
Blake Griffin?
No, the first one.
I forget.
Y'all don't even know his name. Chris Humphries. She done took his name away.
See, y'all
He
talking
was
about
lit.
him. He was what?
He was lit at one point in time. People was talking about him, and then she started dating him, and it, just like Reggie Bush, gone.
Yeah,
Like, you get what I'm saying? Lamar, look what they did to
These
your
are
boy.
facts.
Like,
These are facts.
I know we on radio, but I have no words.
But I'm glad you transitioned into that because that brings us to a conversation that we were having earlier about what Boosie said. And Boosie was saying, what is it with the fact that all these black athletes, they get to the position of stardom and notoriety and money, and then they all deal with white women? You know, and I know if you've seen it, what do you think the reason for that is?
Well, just through my experiences with some black women, I'm not dealing with this complaining. I'm not dealing with you questioning everything I do, and I make all the damn money. So I'm going to go to this one that's going to be a little bit more quieter.
So that's real, because that was one of the things I was saying.
you know what's crazy? And then when you ain't got no money, she leave right with it.
Don't they both?
Huh?
We'll say, don't they both?
He said, don't they both?
No, not typically.
Damn.
We see a lot more of the black women stick around for a man that's no longer in the league than you see them white women stick around that's no longer in the league. Think about it. Think about who's still with their wife.
Going down the road, I feel uncomfortable.
That's what I'm saying. Think about who's still with their wife. You don't never see the old athlete with an old white woman.
You do.
Barely.
You do, very
I can
much
tell
so.
you more black athletes that have black women sticking by them after they ain't.
I can tell you a lot of retired players that you see their wives walking them around, and they usually are Caucasian.
They still got their money.
Again, uncomfortable.
They still got. I want to know, like, speaking of, like, just what's period, Stephen A. Smith, right? They talked about him potentially being a presidential candidate. He said if the world goes more to crap, which are United States, which we see it is, right? Would you or could you see him being somebody that you would back for a presidential candidate?
Most likely not.
Yeah.
For me, that's just because I follow politics a little bit, you know, and I know who I would want to run the country. Haven't found that person yet. Barack, please come back.
Michelle, anybody, Jesus, one of the kids.
Please. But I don't know. Like, I don't know what he would do or what his stances are on anything. So it's not somebody I can just kind of say right now out of nowhere just because he's a personality. I would want somebody that knows, you know, the government and knows policies personally and that cares about everybody on both sides of the line.
Speaking of Stephen A. Smith, man, who was right, who was wrong, Stephen A. or LeBron in their altercation?
I mean, LeBron was a dad, and he said something to somebody that he didn't feel right, you know, talking about his child. And it was funny because when they said, he was like, that wasn't LeBron James that came to me. That was a father, you know, and he was right.
Right.
You know? But also being put in this situation and Bronny being put in this, he is open to that criticism as well.
Right.
That's why I felt Stephen A. was right. I mean, you can have your opinion, but I didn't feel like Stephen A. attacked Bronny as a son. He was speaking on him as a basketball player. And if he's speaking on him as a basketball player, then that's his job. So how can you get mad at him for it?
Well, as a dad, you read that stuff and those lines are muddied because they was talking about him way too much.
Yes.
You know, like a lot of these conversations shouldn't even been a conversation because he was just he made it to the league. Y'all should celebrate this young man, not just blasting him for being LeBron's son. I mean, honestly, he's a really good point guard. He will be a really good point guard in this league. You know, let him grow. Let him go through his ups and downs like every other athlete does.
Right.
But now you just shooting him down because he's Bron's son. And yeah, as a dad, you're going to say something.
I feel that.
I like that you say that because I feel like so many people say negative things about Bronny. Like for you to say he is a good point guard, great point guard, and he will be great. Like who got caught talking about him? Jalen. Jalen got caught talking about him when he was on the floor summer league, and he basically said that he needed to go to the D League, like it's straight to the D League is exactly what he said. But you know, I mean, like you said, everybody's entitled to their opinion. What's your opinion on Larsa Pippen? She has a new boyfriend. He's I guess a former NBA player. So when it comes to like y'all like in the league, right, and dating somebody that's already dated a player, like publicly, like is that something that like is frowned upon? Do y'all just look at it like if you're no longer with that guy, it's fair game? Like what's your view on that?
My view is you with whoever you with. I mean, Eskimo brothers. I mean, it's so public. Like, why I wouldn't personally.
She still has his last name.
Right.
Oh, my gosh.
Right.
How young is she?
She's not.
50.
Yeah, she's not young at all.
50 something.
Okay.
Got the age?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. I got no comments on that. No, power to her.
Well, how was your family when it came to women being around you? Because we see Jaden Daniels. His mama is up in the mix, right? So they went to a wedding. He went to his friend's wedding. She was right there dancing right beside him, doing the fan move and all that. So some people are saying she's being too much of a mom and she needs to let him, you know, live a little bit and grow a little bit. Was your family tough on you like that? And what do you think is best when it comes to that?
Well, on my 21st birthday party, I told my mom I'm a grown-ass man. In front of everybody. That was my toast.
Yeah.
So I kind of took it that, you know, I'm me and I'm going to do me. I'm making my own money now, so I'm going to make my own decisions. But I got to deal with those choices as well.
Yeah.
And they was there to support. You know, now his mama, she gonna be there, but if she don't, you know, scoot over a little bit, he might resent her a little bit and pull away even more.
I feel like
I think she's doing a good job right now, letting him, you know, just get through this time and figure out who he is, because we forget what he did. 3 years. You know, so he was, 21 when he came out, and 22. Like, honestly, at this point, if you under 25, I don't know what I can talk to you about. Like, can we have a real conversation? So let him become a young man and figure out who he is before I let you make those decisions. I know it's just weird seeing it so prevalent in front of the cameras like we do, but I think she's doing a great job, and she raised a good young man.
Yes, she did.
Yeah, and he's definitely a good kid. All right, let's talk about something you are comfortable talking about, which is basketball.
Yeah.
Okay, we're at playoff season. So tonight we got the Heat versus the Hawks. The winner of that game will play against the number 1 seed, Cleveland. Who do you think is going to win that game?
I'm sorry that I'm here in ATL. I want to say y'all Hawks, but if you saw what Miami did the other night, I just think they're destined for the playoffs. I play for the Heat. I know what they do. That Heat culture is real, and they're set up to try to give somebody a long run. And I just think they're going to get the Hawks.
Well, my bad, because I missed the other It's Mavs and Grizzlies. Yeah. Okay. The play-in game for the Western Conference, Mavs versus Grizzlies. The winner of that game will take on the number 1 seeded OKC. Who you got, Dallas or Memphis?
I want to say Memphis. I want to say Memphis so bad.
You want to?
I want to. But what Dallas did the other night.
Come on, Dallas.
And AD, he looked like he got some, I'm going to prove y'all what's going on here. So I'm going to say with that energy, Dallas. But Memphis is set up to play in the playoffs right now.
Ooh, that's going to be a good matchup.
Yeah, Moran he's back.
He is.
So,
he threw the grenade to show us.
Well, that's not.
That's hard. I like that he did that,
Everybody
though.
keep talking about. I was like, this man went from a little toy gun to a grenade.
I'm telling you.
That's crazy work.
I like it. I like that he does that because you got to be yourself. You got to let them. To me, I feel like when they stopped being like everybody could dress how they wanted to with Iverson and tried to make people more like they wanted. I'm like, nah, it's individuality. Like what's dope about the players, we like the personality of the player. And that's what brings us there. If everybody's wearing a suit, dressed the same, that was boring when they tried to make everybody do that.
It was expensive. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Find a lot.
Sometimes I goes, you know, if you don't celebrate after you hit the 3, you still made the 3.
You're right.
Yeah.
You can get back on defense.
Yeah, that's true too.
You ain't got to do all that.
But it's
right?
exciting for the fans.
Is it? Though?
Yes, I like it.
Oh, okay.
Think about why everybody do even the touchdown dance and like that kind of stuff is exciting for fans.
Well, I've never hit a 3 in my life in a game, and I know like if I did, I would probably like get a tech because I would do every 3-point celebration.
The most.
Everyone I know, just in the middle of the floor, they're still playing.
Cartwheels and everything.
What you talking about?
All right, real quick, while we're on the playoffs, I'm not going to go through each and every game, but who do you have playing in the finals and who walks away this year as the NBA championship team?
From the East, I think I'm going Celtics. I want to say my
Celtics
Cavs.
back at it?
I want to say my Cavs so bad, but I'm going Celtics.
Okay.
And I keep going Lakers. I don't know why. I keep going Lakers.
I feel like you have to.
I just think LeBron wants to give it one more go. He's going to show Luka the way, and Luka's going to take him over that hump.
Yeah.
They walk away champs?
But the Warriors throw me off a little bit too.
Yeah.
But I think this may be a Lakers Celtics, and I want to go Lakers.
Wow. He's got the Lakers winning it all.
This is a long shot, probably a terrible choice because everybody's going OKC, but for some reason, I just think the Lakers are gonna do something.
So if the Lakers do take it all, do you think this will be LeBron's last year?
I mean, that machine, he could play however long he want to. I don't think if he was smart, he would walk away while his knees let him.
Yeah.
But I think he may give like 1 or 2 more.
Two more years.
He's playing at such a high level.
Yeah.
You know, and I think he loves it to that point that he's going to keep going.
Yeah. All right, there you have it, man. Greg Oden in the building, man, talking to us about all things basketball and more. You have a lot going on yourself. Before we wrap this up, man, what do you want to let people know about what you have going on and how they can tap in with you?
I mean, you can reach out to me, Greg Oden, on social media. Right now, I'm doing financial literacy still.
Okay.
Teaching, athletes just the basics about their finances.
They need
how to
that.
keep it, how to budget, how to save. Going through this NIL, these kids are getting a lot of money earlier than later, and just how to take care of it, you know, and grow it more than anything.
Thanks.
Also doing a lot more mentorship, trying to do some training and life coaching, just trying to help these people be a little bit better than me.
How about that?
That's what's up, man.
If you were thinking about abandoning babies, just call our guy Greg. He's going to talk you out of it.
I can definitely talk you out of it.
Yo, we appreciate you, bro, man. Thanks for pulling up on us once again, all right?
Thank y'all for
No
having
doubt.
me.
Y'all know what time it is. It's the Morning Hustle.